It's time to sell him some cows. This is Grim Fandango Remastered with Conception.
All right, great pull there. Great pull. I loved that. Hello, Minneapolis. Hello, everyone in Twitch chat. My name is Conception SR. I'm still wearing the Bunger shirt from earlier when I did Bug Snacks, but this isn't Bug Snacks. This is Grim Fandango. I'm here with all my friends. Say hey, everybody. Hey, how's it going? I say they're my friends because it's almost 4 a.m. here, and they are here, so that means they are true friends. So, all right, so this is Grim Fandango. We're just going to jump right into it. I'll explain all that I can without ruining my own step here. So, all right, time is going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so if you're unfamiliar, Grim Fandango is one of those legendary LucasArts point-and-click adventure games from the 90s. This one got a remaster in 2015 by Double Fine, who you might be familiar with as they just released a new game this week, Psychonauts 2. Same developer, so you know this game's got to be good. But yeah, as you can see, it is an adventure game. It's a point-and-click adventure game. We play as a skeleton. More technically, we play as a skeleton in the land of the dead, based off of Aztec and Mexican folklore. His name is Manny. Everyone say hi, Manny. Oh yeah, that's a 4 a.m. hi, Manny, if I ever heard one. All right, and this is Glottis here, by the way. Glottis is going to become our best friend right now, and he's also going to be our driver here. Oops, I must have clicked the wrong option there. I was like, oh wow, did I find a new skip? But there's no way. Yeah, so part of the difficulty that goes into a point-and-click adventure game, obviously, is that you have to hit all the right text options. And what we do in this game to save a lot of time throughout the run is, unfortunately for us, we have to skip we turn off the voice lines, which is a real shame because the voice lines in this game are just stellar. Voice acting in this game is really, really good. So it is unfortunate, but it saves us probably, if I had to guess, like a minute or so of the game, based on a few unskippable cutscenes that have a lot of dialogue, because instead of playing the entire voice line, it will just stay on the screen as captions long enough that you can read it, instead of playing the voice line. So that's going to save us a bunch of time. All right, so out we go. As mentioned, this is the Land of the Dead. It actually is the Day of the Dead in the Land of the Dead right now. So it is Dia de los Muertos, which explains this little festival here. And there's no better way to celebrate a festival than by getting some balloon animals. So we're going to get a couple of those because it's important. First, it's going to be a cat. Classic cat. Usually, I would think a dog is probably actually a little bit more classic, but we're going to get a few. Now we're going to go dead worm, a.k.a. an empty balloon. And you know what? One more for good measure. You can't have enough dead worm balloons. So, and you can't need, if there's anything we need more in life, it's got to be bread, right? So we're going to get some more bread. And actually, it's a little hard. It was a little hard to see there because we go a little bit, top-down view almost. But I actually performed one of the key mechanics / glitches that is in the game. But don't worry, we're going to see it tons, which is what we call sliding. Basically, in the PC version of this game, because you have hotkeys that you can use your inventory items with, as opposed to playing it on a console game or what have you, you can activate. You can activate inventory items while moving as long as you've clicked a transition point. So that means that you're going to see Manny slide on the ground a whole bunch while messing around with his stuff. And that is sliding. It's going to look like he's gliding across the ice. All right, down the rope we go here. So the general premise. The layout of how this works here is we're going to be on a 4-year journey. And the basis of this is right now Manny is a travel agent of the dead. Basically, when people pass on into the afterlife, Manny will help them get packages, like travel agent type packages based on how they were in life. If you are really good in life, you're going to get the Class A package, Silver Bullet Train to to the afterlife, you know, the pearly gates, as you will. If you weren't so great in life, you're going to have to take this 4-year-long journey on foot, where you have to kind of work your way there, get enough money to travel, you know, stuff like that. The problem is no matter how good in life Manny's clients are, he keeps getting the worst packages. He has a computer, basically assigns them for him as to what packages he should be getting. Pretty soon we're about to meet Meche. Meche is a person who is terrific in life, charitable, wonderful, kind of heart, you know, as best of a person as you could be. And she's going to end up getting the worst package, and it just doesn't make sense. And that's gonna irk Manny a little bit. Ooh, that was a weird slide there. But you saw it up close and personal. That's what one of the slides looks like, basically. Those dead worm balloons are going to come in handy here as we fill it with 2 different types of packing material. In my opinion, what makes this speedrun fun is not only the fact that we get these weird, quirky animation skips and glitches and stuff like that. It's the fact that these puzzles, you know, and anyone I've talked to who has played this game before has talked about how kind of difficult these puzzles were in terms of solving it without, you know, guides and things like that. But that's what makes it such an interesting speedrun, is finding interesting and challenging ways to solve these things quickly. You know, such as shoving some balloons down a pneumonic tube. All right, so back down we go. One other thing I'll mention here as well is we have tank controls enabled for this game, and the reason why we do that, because that sounds really weird and counterintuitive to like almost any game, because tank controls are just kind of strange. But the reason why we do that is it actually enables us to do another transition-based glitch. We won't be able to do it here because there's a little cutscene. But basically, there's a lot of transitions in this game where Manny will enter a new area from an old area, and he'll kind of just sit there idly and have this like idle animation that goes on for like 2 or 3 seconds sometimes. Sometimes they're a little quicker than that, but sometimes they're as long as 2 or 3 seconds. But if we double-click the transition point while using tank controls to pass through, then we can skip that animation altogether. That probably saves us, I don't know, if I had to guess, like 40 seconds throughout the run. There's that many transition points that we can skip, so it's definitely worth doing. Oops. Oop, tabbed out somehow. There we go. Apologies. There we go. Probably looked pretty weird on screen, but controls are a little funky, so sometimes you can accidentally tab out just by playing the game. Interestingly enough, I will say, as great as this game is, there is a lot of like easy soft locks that really ruin your time. And then, like as I just mentioned, it's very easy to tab out of this game with the basic controls. So, all right, this is Salvador. He's the head of the underground resistance that lives in our office building. You know, just normal everyday work stuff. If your workplace does not have an underground anti-capitalist movement, then I don't think you're working in the right place. I heard that. All right, so we're going to sneak into our coworker Domino's office. And the reason why we're doing this story-wise here is Domino is getting all the Class A clients, despite how they might have performed in life. Some of them were good, some of them not so good, but everyone's getting the top tier package, which just further makes Manny suspicious. And as you could imagine there as well, because our boss just locked us in a room, we got fired for asking too many questions. So we had to sneak into Domino's office not only to get some clues, but we're gonna need some specific items here. We grabbed one of his trophies so we can make a grappling hook, Batman style. Wacha. And then we're actually heading to the roof here, and the reason why we're going to the roof is we need to get some pigeons, because no underground resistance unit is complete without its most efficient way of communication, which is obviously messenger pigeon. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna get some messenger pigeons, but not just straight up pigeons, because you can't teach an old pigeon new tricks. I've always said that. We gotta get fresh pigeons. So we gotta scare away this flock of pigeons that's over here, so we can get to that little nest of eggs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use that cat balloon that we got earlier in combination with the bread we also got earlier. The bread is gonna attract the pigeons. They're going to eat too ferociously because pigeons can't resist bread. They're going to pop the balloon. They're going to spook themselves. Oh, also, of course, the pigeons are dead too. So they're skeletal pigeons. All right. So we're going to grab an egg. And we're going to head back down. So that actually was also a slide animation there, but for some reason on this rooftop one, his legs still keep moving, so he doesn't slide. He just keeps running and puts the egg away, which is interesting. All right, so we're pulling out a mouth guard. So when we were in Domino's office, we grabbed a trophy and we also grabbed a mouth guard, which is kind of gross, except it's not that gross because, again, remember, we're skeletons, so they can't have saliva, right? Can't be that disgusting. But we need it because this game was made in the 90s, so obviously back then every computer needed a dental scan to access. You guys remember that, right, in the 90s? Had to bite down on something to get into your computer. Yeah, easy. So we're gonna get that dental scan there by getting an imprint of Domino's. Well, we use his mouth guard, but we imprint our own teeth because they haven't removed us from the system yet. Because again, like in the 90s, tech moved a little slow. Come on, talk to him. Thank you. All right, so we have made our way out of the office. Again, we were trapped there, so we didn't have a way out. We have actually escaped. Obviously, we're skipping a lot of cutscenes here, so you can't fully get the grasp of the story. But we've made our escape. Glottis has helped us out. Like I said, he's our best friend. He's also our driver. Glottis, by the way, if you're wondering what kind of creature he is, because everyone's been skeletons besides Glottis so far. Glottis is a demon, but he's a demon that we can all get behind because he is a speed demon. He lives to go fast. And same, honestly. So we're going to grab a bunch of bones. We're going to pocket 3 of them, but on the 4th one, we're going to throw. And we're actually going to get to do an interesting animation skip here, which is our scythe. It's really cool because it's collapsible, so that's why we can just pull it straight out of our jacket there. If you pause while pulling out the scythe or putting it away, as long as it's not in a cutscene like this one is, then you can skip the animation, which is also a PC-specific thing. If you've played, anyone should play this game on whatever console they would like. I cannot suggest it enough. It's a fantastic story. It's really entertaining. The soundtrack slaps. Like, it's so good. Please play this game. If you want to speedrun it, though, you got to play it on PC, unfortunately, if you want to have any kind of competitive time, because there are so many animation skips. If you play on console, if you want to pull out an item, you have to go in your inventory and cycle every time. And this is a game that specifically uses items to solve puzzles. So probably the highest non-PC time is, if I had to guess, 15 or so minutes slower than the PC time. But this game is always affordable. It's cheap. It's on sale a lot. Can't suggest it enough. Buy it, play it. It's great. All right, so like I said, this run is broken into 4 years because while everyone who gets the lower class package has to take this 4-year journey to get from here to the pearly gates, we have to follow that along because Meche has been sent off on this 4-year journey unjustly. That's not a word, is it? Unjustly? I don't know. It was unjust what they did to her, is what I'm trying to say. And we're going to follow Meche so we can try and save her. I'm going to focus here a little bit on this, and then I'm going to explain what I'm doing here. Nope. Come on. Oh, I didn't get off of it. Come on. There it is. Okay. So I kind of stopped in the middle of a thought there because I really had to focus. It's broken up into 4 years. We're going to be going on this 4-year-long journey. Every year, coincidentally, if I have to imagine, has a key moment of RNG. That was year 1's right there, which is that little, I call it a tree farm. I don't really know what else to call it, but basically it's like this metallic tree that we have to use to get by, knock it over so it clears a path for us. And we have to do it by cycling the I guess they're rivets on each side of the tree so that they get, topsy-turvy and fall over. Also, fun fact here, so we pick up that sign, and there's meant to be a long puzzle there where you have to, pick like those holes that kind of like surround the area, place the sign down, and then it'll point to where you should head to next. However, the point is the same every time in the run, so as long as you put the sign there, then you don't have to do the puzzle. You just have to put it where it goes at the end. It'll unlock the door for you automatically. But yeah, as you can imagine, the RNG point here in year 1 did not go great for me, but that's okay. We're still having a good time. Okay. Fun fact as well, I was doing a practice run about a couple hours ago in preparation in the arcade here, and I found a soft lock that I had never encountered before, and it happened at this section with these flaming beavers here. If you recall, a few minutes ago, I picked up a whole bunch of bones, right? The reason why I picked up a bunch of bones is because these flaming beavers are attracted to bones. That's what they like most in the world. Oops, would help if I didn't throw it away. Oh, there we go. So we throw them in the oil pits here, and then we use our fire extinguisher from earlier. I got the same soft lock. I've never seen this before. Let me see if I pause and unpause. That helps. Okay, good. So it's an easy fix at least. So basically what needs to happen there is the beavers come up after you throw the bone in there. As they're jumping off, you use the fire extinguisher to extinguish them. That way they no longer block our way. The soft lock that I've never seen, now I've seen twice since being here at Midwest Speedfest, is the beavers just won't approach. They get stuck right there. You see that? They're not moving. But if I unpause and pause again, they'll start moving. So that's very odd. But before, when I was doing my practice run, I could not figure out how to get out of this soft lock, so I wasted like 4 minutes. But now, I'm glad I did that practice run, because now I had a very easy way of fixing it. So usually we have that's never happened before in marathons, but I'm gonna throw a new one at you. That's happened once before. Starting a new trend. I'm a trendsetter if I'm anything. I've always said that too. All right, so three flaming beavers. They're out of our way here. That was another excellent glide. I also glided on nothing, which is interesting. All right. All right, so we're almost out of year 1. We're actually in the location that year 2 is going to take place in. We just have like a little bit of like end of year exposition to do. There's a little bit of a throwback here that I didn't get to fully explain, which is this person in this little diner, for lack of a better term, is Celso. Now, we have seen Celso before, but I didn't point it out, really. We saw Celso all the way at the beginning of year 1. You might have noticed, if you are one of those eagle-eyed viewers out there, that we opened a body bag with our scythe right at the beginning, and that actually had Celso's body in it. So with that, we welcomed Celso into the afterlife here. He, unfortunately, as you can tell, got the terrible package. He's on the 4-year-long journey. But he's also looking for his wife, who died in the same tragic accident, which was a poisoning at the diner, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And but his wife is already shepherded on, as we're about to find out from the ship captain here. So Celso's going to take off in search for his wife. He's going to leave us to work at the diner, which is great, because we're gonna be in store for a huge glow up here. Just gotta hand Celso the ship log here. All right, and then this is actually going to be the end of year 1. It's going to have a cutscene after Celso takes off. All right, and we are officially in year 2. Now, they are all kind of close. So year 2 is by far the longest of the years. But then it's followed by year 3, which is significantly shorter. So it kind of balances out. And then year 1 and 4 are kind of the same length. So it's roughly, it's split into 4 parts that are all roughly the same length, on average. So this is the Glove. This is the same little cafe that we took over, but we've turned it into a cafe, and as you'll see soon, / casino. Not enough cafe / casinos out there, if you ask me. All right. So in year 2 here, we've been here a year. We've been waiting for Meche. Hold on, let me get through. This is a difficult dialogue sequence yet. All right, there we go. There we go. Now we should be good. It's only difficult because you have to hit specific points or else you don't progress the story. Okay, so yeah, we've been waiting for Meche in this port because we assumed that we outsped her to this point. Come on. We outsped her to this point, so we were waiting behind to see if she showed up. And she didn't show up, except she happened to be like a ship on the night, take off under our nose here. So now that we have found this out, we need to get out of here. We're going to get out of here via ship. The problem is there's only enough spots for one person, people, demon, skeleton on the ship. And Glottis, we need Glottis to come with us, and Glottis is actually free to go on the ship because Glottis can work. Glottis, as you can tell, engineer by trade. So he's got a place on the ship. He just needs some tools. So we got to get him some tools. That's one thing we need. We need to clear out a second spot on the ship by guaranteeing somebody doesn't show up to work. That's the second thing we need. And none of that matters if we're not a part of the Maritime Union. So we gotta join the Maritime Union or get union cards. However you want to look at that. So these are the 3 things that we need to do to accomplish year 2. We're going to start here with the working on the union cards. This is our friend Charlie. Charlie is a little bit of a career criminal, let's say. He's gonna show us his fake betting slip machine that he's using to cheat the slots. Don't know why he would show that to us who owns the casino, but it's a bold move. It's a bold move. Rightfully so. We're just gonna confiscate that right quick. But Charlie, as a career criminal, can get his hand on some pretty realistic but still definitely false union cards. So we're gonna get in that union. Also, you're gonna notice, especially in year 2, super prominent. There's a lot of weird animation glitches. Like for some reason, Manny just stood up halfway into the table there. I don't know. Can't explain why, but that's how it is. That is not a union card. That is actually a VIP card for the casino. But it is going to play into the union card. Basically, it's a quid pro quo. We gotta scratch Charlie's back in order for Charlie to scratch ours. It's going to be a long night. Let's grab some of this gold drink. And we're going to show off our fancy VIP casino card to Glottis here, which will be a mistake, but also needed to progress the story. It's a mistake in the way that Glottis is a little bit of a lush. He likes the drink. We'll say that. So he steals our VIP card and runs to the VIP lounge to get those free beverages. We're going to follow him. But we're going to make a few pit stops on the way. All right, on the way down here, I'm going to do an item slide here again. I'm going to pull out my Goldschlager. There it is. Nice slide. We're going to head down here. So we own a nice, modest, tiny little casino, but, Big Casino's always in town trying to run us out of business. So we're going to head on over to Big Casino. Because we got some business to take care of ourselves. That's a Zeppelin. I don't really. I tried desperately to think in my head of how this relates, and I can't remember. It's been a long time since I played this game casually. I don't know why it's there, to beyond looking menacing / cool, but it's there. The reason why Goldschlager is going to be important here. So we're going to stand right in front of this metal detector, and we're going to drink it. And as you can imagine, it's going to create a reaction as we step through this this metal detector. But that's okay. We needed to do this because, as you can see here, security guard has this little handheld metal detector that we want to get our hands on to progress the story. And we're going to be a little bit flirtatious because the security guard has a thing for Manny. So we're going to be a little flirtatious there to get the personal search. But then while we're getting that personal search, getting close to the security guard, in order to be fast, we have to be a little mean. I think Jaxler's Chibi Robo run earlier said that we have to forego happiness for speed. And that is definitely the case. Because we're going to make our poor security guard friend Carla really upset and cry and all that, just because we want to get to this handheld metal detector as fast as possible. The reason why, also, this is Big Casino, beyond just having a VIP lounge and more stuff, is also has a racetrack. It's not a horse track, it's not a dog track, it's a giant cat track. We don't get to see the giant cats in action, for some reason. That is just not in the game. But we do get to see the next best thing. What happens when giant cats need to go to the bathroom? Giant litter box. Which, of course, is exactly where that handheld metal detector flew when Carla threw it out the window. Luckily enough for us, we have a social and cat poop distancing scythe that we can use to clear this out a little bit faster. So we successfully get the metal detector here. And then we're going to make our way to that VIP lounge that I was speaking of earlier. All right, so in we go. And this is a key spot as to why turning off voice lines saves us a bunch of time. We're going to be talking to Nick here, who's kind of like a mobster lawyer type. You cannot mash through this cutscene. You cannot skip this cutscene, mainly because he has a key inventory item that he's about to showcase. I think that's the reason why you can't like mash or skip through things, in case you skip through seeing this little key pop out. But turning off voice lines alone in this cutscene saves about 20 seconds, just in this one spot. So it's definitely worth doing. But right now we're just going to be slowly getting through a conversation. If we happen to have any donations, plugs, incentives that we can work on, that would be great.
Well, I would like to give a little update about the new Ghostbusters 2 Bid War. Currently, the way this works is the top 2 characters will be the characters that are played as, and currently Lewis and Winston are in the lead. But they are not in the lead by much. So any sort of donation could get either Egon or Peter or Ray into the run. And that run is happening in a few hours. So if you want to donate toward that, I'd recommend doing it sooner than later.
Absolutely. I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but I am extremely excited for that run. It was a joy getting. I watched it a little bit ahead of time, and it was a joy, and I'm really excited to see it on the Midwest Speedfest stage. So, especially if you have some favorite Ghostbusters characters, which people are usually pretty adamant on which character they like the most. They have pretty strong opinions about it. Get your donations in for that, and it's for a good cause. And I know we also have bonus game 2 open, which is going to be Barney's Hide and Seek, 80% no controller. So, we have Ghostbusters, we have Barney. Get those donations in. Remember your childhood. I mean, at least it was my childhood. So this poor waiter has been serving Gladys all night. I like to think this is a little bit benevolent, because we're gonna let the waiter rest a little bit by locking him in the pantry. But I choose to believe that that's a good thing because he could stop running back and forth to Glottis. What's going to happen, though, is that without the waiter, Glottis is going to become very excited because he does not have his wine. So he's going to chug through a whole wine casket on his own, which is great because we're going to ride that wine casket all the way to the cellar. Which is we need to get into the cellar with this forklift. There is a secret door through the elevator. Now, very interesting point of order here. So as I mentioned, this is the remaster version of this game. Not super long ago, I think back in January, I actually got to run this for a GDQ hotfix show. And I got contacted by one of the OG developers of the original Grim Fandango after my run. Gave me a lot of like really interesting insights and stuff to the development process. He kind of informed me that they had to patch this game close to when it came out for this specific part only. I'm going to focus on it first, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Cool. Now, we caught that. The reason why the game had to be patched specifically for this scene is that if you were running even a decent, like, pretty good computer when this remaster first came out, if it was too good, you actually did not have a possible frame that you could throw the forklift in there to catch that hole. Any good system, you had to have a little bit of lag in order for there to be a possible frame for it to work. The reason why I point that out, obviously they patched that out, but even so, on higher end computers, I have noticed that sometimes I'll just straight up miss that without doing anything wrong. So I think that is still a problem that can exist on higher end computers. They opened up the frame window a little bit on that, but not by too much, it seems. But we got it first try, so. Also important to note, you can only do that when the elevator is going up. Obviously, when the elevator is going down, the forklift wouldn't catch the doorway there. So if I actually have a safety save for that, purely because it would waste like a minute or more if I just rode the elevator back up and then back down, which we don't have time for that. I'd rather just load a save. Okay, so interesting point of order here. So we grabbed that cigarette case that has the key in it. We go back up to our security guard friend. You can see they got this little bomb shelter thing. I hesitate to call it a shelter because for some reason in this casino, it's more of like an exploding chamber. You'd think a bomb shelter is to, set off an explosive safely. But for some reason, when you put stuff in there, it explodes. So it's like the opposite. Instead of protecting from an explosion, it creates one. I don't know. I don't know why you would have that beyond specifically for something like this, but I'm just happy it exists. We're going to take a shortcut here through the casino, down the lower floor, and then out here. Another item glide there. This will be a really good example of the tank transition, which I'm going to do right here. You can see there, I did not hesitate as I stopped through that. It just let me walk right on through. All right, we're gonna back in this club here, and we're gonna head into the back room here, skip this cutscene, and we're gonna get some of this nasty water. This is actually used hookah water, which, as you can imagine, probably gonna be a little bit toxic, but you know what? It's important. We need to grab it. All right, we're going to head down here. We mentioned before, Glottis needs some tools to work on the ship. The way we're going to get the tools for Glottis to work on the ship is that we're going to get the Union bees to go on strike. It's not going to go exactly to plan, unfortunately, because we're going to get them to go on strike, but these Union busters, they're just going to throw them right in jail. Unjust if you ask me. And honestly, it should be if you ask anybody. But so they're in jail, which does not help our cause because we still don't have access to their tools in that case. So now we need to get them out of jail. Luckily, we know a 2-bit lawyer that we could probably blackmail into helping us. But we'll get there when we get there. All right, we're going to go back in here because we're going to talk to our very eccentric coat check person. Because we skipped a large cutscene there where we see somebody die, and they leave behind this coat check tag. So we're going to take it back. Our coat check person is going to give us a coat that does not belong to us, obviously. But inside the coat, we're going to find a tattoo card. So we're going to search the coat here for a second. Find a tattoo card, and by tattoo card, I mean, like, imagine you're going to a tattoo parlor. They have those books of designs, so you can kind of pick out what you want if you're not sure. It's one of those kind of designs. So we're gonna head down to that tattoo parlor because we got to see what's up with this. While we're heading down there, you get a nice shot of the I said it before, the amazing soundtrack in this game. The only benefit to skipping voice lines is that we really get to listen to the soundtrack a lot more, which is a blessing just because the music is so good. All right, head down here. This is on our way to the tattoo parlor here. For some reason, you have to hit an unskippable, like, small dialogue sequence there. And tattoo parlor is all the way down here. Now, if you recall, there's 3 main objectives we need to do. We need to get a union card, which we completed by grabbing a hidden suitcase for Charlie. He held us up at gunpoint, but he did give us the union card. He did hold his end of the deal. So you got to give him credit for that, I suppose. Nice, we got a good cycle there. So we got the union card. That's step 1. We know where we're at with the Glottis tools because, again, it didn't go so well. We're in progress. We got the worker bees to go on strike, but they were jailed for it, so that doesn't ultimately help us. The last thing we need to do is we need to prevent one of the workers on the boat from showing up so that frees up a spot for Manny. So we're going to work on that now. We're going to take that nasty hookah water. We're going to put it in the sailor's drink while he's getting a tattoo. Can't imagine why it would hurt Naranja here, who's the name of the sailor, because they're all bone, therefore they have no nerves. Don't know why it would matter. Also, I mean, we could really break it down that how can you drink? You have no lungs. You just have to subvert, your expectations a little bit here. So we knocked out Naranja with that, but unfortunately, again, does not fully get us to where we need to go there. Because, hold on one second here. This is the only time we need to go in our inventory, by the way, because it's the only time we have more than 10 items at once. And we need to get to one that's not, because basically the number keys are assigned to the items. And because we have more than 10, I have to cycle through it to find the thing we need. Also, fun glitch here. Ready? Where'd my head go? Okay, we're fine. Don't know why that happens. Yes, as I was saying, so the plan backfired a little bit because we did knock out Naranja. He's probably not going to make it. But the tattoo artist there kind of worked against us in a way because he called the ship captain and said, "I got Naranja here. He's passed out. Don't worry. I'll make sure he shows up for work in the morning." So we haven't fully dealt with that situation yet, but we will. We will. We use that fake betting slip maker that we stole from Charlie. Well, not stole, confiscated, because he was trying to rip us off. So that we confiscated from Charlie at the beginning in order to create a specific betting slip. Now, if you're playing this game casually, you have to use some like lore context clues to figure out exactly what date to punch in. Luckily enough for us, the date is the same every time. So as long as you put in, the month is 2, the day is Tuesday, the day is 6, the date is 6, then you're fine. It'll print out the exact right betting slip. But yeah, just in case you're wondering how I knew exactly what to punch in on that betting slip, yeah, if you play the game casually, you find out why that date is significant. All right, so back to our 2-bit mobster lawyer here, Nick. When we handed in that betting slip, it printed out a very scandalous photo of Nick smooching with the mob boss's girlfriend. Now, you can't do that. You can't do that. So we're going to use that leverage in order to get Nick as a lawyer to free the worker bees. Therefore, we now have their tools to use for Gladys. That is 2 out of 3 things accomplished. And you know what? Let's punch Nick for good measure. I don't know. He's not a good guy. He deserves it. All right, so we still need to work on making sure Naranja does not get on the boat. All right, so we're going to pull out that metal detector we got all the way back towards the beginning of this year. We're going to head into the morgue here. Now, you might be wondering, as you should, a morgue in the land of the dead. What's the point? How can you die when you're dead? The answer to that question is that bones in this universe react very specifically to a plant fertilizer. If you're exposed to too much of that plant fertilizer, you turn into a shrub, kind of like this. So basically, guns, instead of using bullets, or weaponry in general, instead of using bullets, they use fertilizer. And if you get, shrubbed, then you're dead. You can't move. You basically become, topiary. Now, what I did there, we gift the metal detector to the mortician to help, identify bodies, I guess. Then we do a little sneaky maneuver where we grabbed Naranja's dog tags back when he was knocked unconscious. We grabbed those, we threw those on the body he wasn't looking at, even though he was like turning. The window is so large it doesn't matter. He technically saw us do it, but it's fine. We throw the dog tags on the body. Now the mortician thinks that Naranja is this body, therefore Naranja is dead, therefore he will not be showing up to work, so the captain's fine. Also, there's the head again. I don't know. Great, so that's actually all 3 things accomplished. There is one other hidden thing that you have to do before you exit, which is that you have to leave your cafe in a good enough spot to have it function without you. And the only thing we have to do to make sure that happens is we have to kick out the casino cheaters. There's somebody who's cheating at roulette. So we're going to stop that by going up to our office here and fixing the magnets on the roulette table. Now this is the RNG sequence. Cool, we got the fastest RNG there. That is the RNG sequence of year 2. Depending on what cycle you're on, you might have to wait 2 or 3 full rotations of the roulette table before you can do anything about that. But we got the fastest RNG cycle there, which is great. We are now in year 3. We get on the boat. Unfortunately, we're tracked down by some hidden person who is after us for some reason. We don't really know why. They've captured us. They have taken out our crew and locked us in the boat. For some reason, though, they can't be the smartest because they choose to lock us in where the engine and ship controls are. Which, if I'm going to lock somebody in a boat, I'm not going to lock them where the controls to the boat are. It just seems obvious to me. But what we're going to do is we have a little puzzle with the 2 anchors on the boat there. We move the ship over. We interlock the anchors on one side here. Then what we're going to do is on the opposite side, the other anchor, we're going to run over to this button. We're going to pull it again because naturally that's going to rip the ship in half. Lovely sound, isn't it? All right, and then naturally all that makes sense is what we're going to do is we're going to drive the broken half of the ship away. Yeah, that's how boats work, I'm pretty sure. Wow, fascinatingly, we end up at the bottom of the ocean because it didn't work out for us. Luckily enough for us, we're dead, so we don't have to worry about breathing underwater or making that an issue. I don't know why GLaDOS is good with it. I guess demons have the same functionality, basically. This is my self-portrait. You like it? Thanks. Yes, so we are underwater. Basically what this NPC here tells us is that anytime that there is no light, you cannot move because you will get attacked by hideous monsters like that. So naturally, we're going to yank this guy who has a light attached to his head, and we're just going to walk through the darkness. Now, it's really easy to do this, but if you were playing casually or if you're learning to speedrun this game, and for some reason you don't talk to that NPC fast enough, you have to wait for him to cycle around the entire map before you can talk to him again, which takes a whole minute to do that. Like I said, it's not hard to miss talking to him. As soon as he's close to you, if you just press the action key, which is for me is spacebar, then you'll talk to him. But if for some reason you weren't paying attention or something, or you are like purely using the mouse as opposed to like no keyboard function, and you missed it, then you're gonna have to wait a whole minute for him to walk around all the way back. Yeah, so we're at the bottom of the ocean, so naturally there's a giant octopus in a submarine. It just makes sense. Now we are at this like end of the world mining base. Basically, there's a lot of exposition there. We get captured by the submarine, which is being piloted by the octopus. Don't ask me. But we are brought over to this like underground, above ground, into the world like mining facility. Because the octopus seems to be in cahoots with whoever was chasing us in the ships and captured us. So we're going to figure out what that's about. So we're going to head up here. A couple cutscene skips there. Tank controls here as well. There we go. All right, I'm just going to focus a little bit on this dialogue sequence because we have to hit specific cues here in order to get the items that we need. Well, item that we need. But basically, the person who has been after us this whole time is Domino. Now, if you remember when I mentioned Domino, he was our co-worker back at the travel agency. He's after us, which is highly suspicious, which means that, you know, obviously they were all in on this plan. Basically, we have to goad some children in order to get them to throw this tool at us, which feels bad, but, you know, we have to forego happiness for speed. All right, here is the key RNG sequence here for year 3. Now, hopefully I get a good cycle here. Looks like it could be promising. Maybe not. Yeah, I think we're going to get a bad cycle here. So basically, this is Meche, by the way. You know, remember how I told you we were chasing her, trying to get her safe? She's been captured by Domino as well. This is all RNG. Basically, what we have to do is we have to have Meche not pay attention to the ashtray while we're turning it. And she needs to drop ashes on her stockings. There we go. We cannot really control. You can get it first try. It could take you 7, 8, 9 tries. You can't really control it. But basically, she drops the ash on her stockings. She throws them away. We're going to grab them from the trash. Seems weird, but just go with me on it for right now. Okay, so this is like a prison mining camp, basically. And so naturally, we need to make some key exchanges in order to get, you know, basic items that every prisoner would have, but we're going to use them to our advantage. So we're going to head down here. Our poor friend down here with the lantern on his head was also captured in this. We just feel terrible. But luckily enough for us, he's got some items that we can do some exchange. So we're going to take that little tiny pickaxe, and we're going to trade him for that electric drill thing that he's using. Seems like a fair trade. You know, it seems a little weird to take advantage of him. Like, all right, so we're going to give him the silk stockings. You know, he's just going to give us, I don't know, a gun in return. You know, things that people who are in prison get to keep on them normally. An electric power drill and a gun. So all seems fair. All seems right here. We're going to take those up here. We're going to talk to Meche about breaking her and us out of here. Unfortunately, it doesn't end up going well. Domino gets onto our plan and imprisons Meche here. But don't worry, we have the tools to take care of this. So first what we're going to do is we're going to drill through the hinge on the door here. That's going to open up some tumblers that you're going to see. Some like tumble locks in here that you'll be able to see. Then we're going to spin the lock so that the gap on the side is completely exposed. So this is actually technically another RNG component in year 3. It's just so minimal that it's not really of consequence. Except when I mess it up very badly, like this kind of. But basically, yeah, so you want that gap all the way. There we go. So that we can then take our scythe and shove it in the gap there so that they can't roll backwards. And then we can open the door. Then naturally, we're going to step through the door, and Meche is going to be here. Oh. Let's just lock ourselves in instead. Seems like the plan. No, trust me. This is all planned. We got to hit the secret switch above the door that you can only hit when the door is closed, and then Meche comes out. All right. We're going to do a glitch here where we move. Oh, no, we're not. I attempted to do a glitch here. Basically, there's a glitch if you perform it. It's kind of close to frame perfect. It's probably not quite. But basically, what the glitch is that you can move this heavy axe at running speed when it's supposed to actually even be slower than walking speed. If you are holding a tank transition while clicking at the same time while picking up the axe. So it's a lot to keep in mind. I messed it up, unfortunately, so we had to slow drag the axe all the way to this hole, but, you know, we still got there. We drop the axe there, opens up this hole. We also see a bunch of these suitcases, which might look a little bit familiar to you because that's the same kind of suitcase that we got Charlie back in year 2. And these suitcases are actually full of Class A tickets to the pearly gates. So we're uncovering a conspiracy piece by piece here. All the Class A tickets are being owned by the people who own this mining camp. That seems weird. We have to figure out what's going on. We have to make sure that these tickets get to the people they belong to, not the people, you know, who are trying to pay their way into the happy afterlife here. Also, low-key didn't talk about this, but there are the cutscenes that we've skipped to this point have also made us think that Glottis is dead at this point. He fell off the face of the earth, quite literally, and plummeted to his death. But luckily enough for me, I've played this game before. I know he's not really dead. So we're going to be getting him some parts to build the ship back together out of kind of like a husk of itself. A fun little animation skip here. We're supposed to go through and completely drill off of that so that the chain is separated from the bucket. But if you skip the animation, not only do you not see the drill, so it looks like these are still connected, but you also just are holding nothing afterwards. But trust me, they're separated. But anyway, we need to get some parts in order for Glottis to build his ship back up. So we're going to unlock these tumblers and then, oops, and then throw. All right, yeah. Keep going. There we go. And throw, so those tumblers will be important for the motor, and then we also need to yank the ship back up from its watery grave. So we're going to head back down here, hop off the ledge here to this lever, hit it a few times here so that we can get the current changing in this little, I don't even know what this is, but we're going to hit the lever a few times so it changes the current. Chain goes down all the way the first time. Second time, chain pushes back, so it kind of curls and knots up over there. And we push it back forward so that it obviously is just going to knot around the anchor just so. Then all we got to do is head back up here. Head back up to the crane controls and yank the ship up. Now we saved everybody. One last boss battle, of course, but it's not really a boss battle because we're going to attack the eye instead. All right. There we go. We are in year 4, so we are getting close to the end here, gang. Fun animation skip there. All right, so year 4, we are at the pearly gates. We are at the last station for the afterlife here. But the person will not let us through because we do not have tickets. So we get all the way here, we make this journey, but it's all for naught. So we need to backtrack a little bit. We need to get some tickets for us so we can all, you know, retire happily. So we're going to grab a few items here. We're going to grab a rag. We're going to dip it in gasoline, and we're going to put it in a toaster. And I can't imagine what would go wrong. And for some reason, this animation always makes me laugh. So we're holding a gas-soaked napkin rag of sorts. So to interact with the toaster, we take the rag, we put it away, we pop the toaster, we take the rag out, we put it in. Just seems like if I were going to do that, that's not how I would do it. I don't know. The reason why it reacts that way is if you remember all the way back in year 1, we used a bunch of packing materials to shove down a pneumonic tube, mail tube. Those packing materials, as it turned out, super flammable, which is great because we needed a rocket car to get all the way back to this area, which was from year 2. It's called Rubikava. And that's because we need to get our rocket car in order to go back to the travel agency that we used to work for. Because obviously that is where the tickets are. That's who we need to confront to get our tickets and make our way out. Before we can get our rocket car, it's unfortunately trapped. And it's an insurmountable trap. Basically, it's attached to some dynamite, and the fuse is connected to a bunch of dominoes. You see what they did there? So we need to figure out a way to get past this domino trap, which we're going to do so in the only way that I could imagine that we're going to do it. But I'm not going to spoil that for you yet. We're going to make a pit stop. We're going to grab a ship in a bottle, and we're going to fill that ship in a bottle up with some liquid. While we're doing that, if we have any more donations, plugs, incentives, things we'd like to go over, now is a great time.
We do have a $10 anonymous donation who said, I want to help run Barney's hide-and-seek game, so I'm donating for that.
Yes, absolutely, because when it is an in-person event, everybody runs Barney's hide-and-seek game, especially that no-controller category. And because it is being run on actual console, there's a chance that we can as a collective, as Midwest Speedfest, get a world record. But only if you donate enough to make the run happen. So if the run doesn't happen, we might not get a world record as a group. So if you want to see that happen, get those donos in. All right, so remember when I said Glottis was a lush? Well, we have to capitalize on that one more time. It feels bad. It feels bad, but again, speed over happiness. So we're gonna throw some of this lumbago lemonade Glottis's way. He's gonna love it. He's gonna indulge. And then he's gonna slightly overindulge. You can hear the tummy rumbling. You can hear it boiling. He's gonna throw up. Now, he throws up right into the domino trap. You might be thinking, wow, that's gonna ruin it. Like, car's over. But luckily enough for us, super luckily enough for us, when he threw up, it created a perfect layer over the dominoes, which we collected some liquid nitrogen. We're just going to freeze that so that we can just walk straight over the domino trap. I see no problems with this logic. And if you have some problems with that logic, you don't have to tell me. All right, so we're getting real close to the end here. So a few things here. Remember our pigeon all the way back when it was a pigeon egg? It's a full-grown bird now. Isn't that nice? We're going to give a couple things to the pigeon so I can communicate properly, as a messenger pigeon would. You also see a poor soul here was sprouted, but we were able to find one piece of his body, which was a skeletal hand. That's going to be very important for later, so I went ahead and picked it up. Glottis here, having fun with the hydraulics, bouncing up and down. Again, we are speed over happiness. We got to take that away from him for a second. Now, we are actually in the basement of our old office building, but like any good office building in the Land of the Dead, it was turned into a casino as well. I don't really know why. Just for the rich to get richer, I guess. But the problem is that everybody here knows Manny. They know Manny. They know what he looks like. They know his clothes. They know what he's doing. So we can't just go barging up to the boss's office saying, hey, give me my tickets back or we're going to have a problem, because we're not going to get very far. We're going to get stopped. So we got to get a disguise. So first we're going to worry about our face. That's the most recognizable part of us. Makes sense. We're going to grab some coffee. We're going to walk up a ladder with the coffee. We are going to pour the coffee on these poor dancers. They don't deserve it, but we got to do what we got to do. So basically, this dancer is now out of commission. They need a dancer. You can see they have lovely face paint on. We're going to take advantage of that, volunteer to dance, and then not dance at all, just so we can get the face paint. All right, we're going to pull out that skeletal hand. We're going to come over here. I'm going to put it in this little grinder thing, and we're going to pick it up as a cohesive item now. And that is going to be important for later. Actually, really soon, but we have to get there first. If you remember, I said the only way you could die if you're in the afterlife is if you're hit with that fertilizer, because there's a special fertilizer that reacts very strangely with bone in order to create these, like, you know, these shrubs, these sprouts. So we are going to use that to our advantage because we are in search of somebody called the Florist. They are they run a floral shop, but they're also like an underground weapons dealer. We need to get equipped in order to deal with the boss as well. So we're going to use that. Basically, the game intends for you to use your grinder all the way around and find out that you have to go through here. However, if you just go to the end and then use the grinder, you can skip that whole process. Also, again, where's my head? Okay, so this is a giant alligator. Again, this all makes sense. I have no problems with this. So we're going to use our hydraulic system there. We're going to put it away. Now, I took this part very, very slow because this is the easiest part to soft lock here. If you try to use all of these controls too fast, like you try to use the hydraulics too fast, you try to hop off the truck too fast, you soft lock the game very easily here. So you have to take it really, really, really slow. I don't know why that is, but, you know, the game's a little quirky, as you might have noticed. So now that the gator's turned around with his attention on us, we're going to pull out our hydraulic controls again, slam it down on its tail, so that it will not eat us as we head to the Florist. All right. So the Florist is afraid that somebody is after him, which technically we are, but not to harm him or anything. We just need the weapons. For some reason, he's hiding under there. He kind of like tapes up his shop bell there, for lack of a better term. But when you unstrap the bell and then come back in, he's just suddenly like, oh, it's a customer. Never mind, I'm safe. Can't fight that logic. All right, so we grab the stuff there. Where's my head? All right, it's back. All right, so we got our weapon. We got our face paint. The only thing we got to worry about now is our clothes. Everyone knows that Manny loves his Russian-looking trench coat here, so we got to we got to ditch that. We got to find something else. So let's head up here. Now that our face is disguised, we can get on the casino floor safely without being recognized, which is a good deal. So we're going to head to the casino floor now, which is through this way. And we're going to head here. Now, look, we were prepared. We got some plants here. So in this green dress here is Meche. Meche is playing a very key role. And if you might have noticed, if you remember, our old friend Charlie is also right there. Now, Meche is pretending to be very interested in Charlie. This is all going to be part of the plan. So we're going to throw this blanket over Charlie's head. Okay? Now, Charlie's like, what's going on? He's playing the slots. All of a sudden, he's blanketed. We're going to talk to our hidden operative over here, very cleverly in disguise, I know. We're going to talk to him a few times. You're meant to do this before you throw the blanket on Charlie, but if you're fast enough, you can do all of the conversations while Charlie is still under the blanket. Our hidden operative there then goes underneath, Phoenix with the slot machine so that it makes it so that it wins. And then as soon as Charlie lifts the blanket up out of his head, he figures out a way out of that mess. He's going to realize, oh, he hit it big in the casino. So, you know what? It's time to go. Time to go to a toga party that the casino has planned. Charlie just refused to leave until he got something for his troubles. So he's excited. He won. Now that he's going to collect his winnings, we got to go get ready for the toga party. So he's going to go in the bathroom. He's going to change into his toga. Now, like any person would, everyone does this 100% of the time. When you change in a bathroom for any reason, you leave your clothes behind. Like, those clothes are dead to you now. You don't need those. So now that he's changed into his toga for the party, we're going to go grab his clothes that he left in the bathroom because, of course, he did. But there it is. Now, man, he's looking fresh. Here is the RNG. Well, come on now. Here's the RNG point of year 4. I'm going to focus on it, and then I'll explain what's going on. I don't know. Nope. Okay. Didn't even look at it that time, so I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So that, like I said, that is the RNG point of year 4. Basically, what happens there is that doorman, who, if you remember, he's actually from year 1. He was the tech guy for the place. He will not let you up to see Hector Le Mans, who is the big boss of this whole ordeal, unless you can prove that you know him. The way you prove that you know him is by answering a question that you would only know if you knew him. And that question always has a numerical answer. Now, the answer to that question is based off of the bingo board that's behind us. What happens there is you look at it once, you study the numbers that are on the screen, and then when it flashes back to that screen the second time, one of the numbers is either removed or there's a number added. So it's random at any point. So you have to pay attention. Basically, the best RNG would have not only an easy solution, but it would have a solution that the answer is between 1 and 4, because otherwise you have to scroll through a particularly long list of numbers to get to the one that's needed. So basically, because it was so long and I couldn't remember all of the numbers, I thought it was near the end, so I clicked 30, but it was not the correct answer. I had to run that RNG sequence again. Luckily enough for us, the second time it happens is significantly easier every time. As you saw, in the second time, there was only one number the second time, so it could only be one answer. Unless there was 2 numbers before and it was removed, but I was pretty confident that was not the case. But yeah, so I got a little unlucky there. But we're actually in the last set piece of the game here. We're actually getting decently close on time. We're going to head up to the greenhouse here, where Hector Le Mans has locked himself in. We basically got him on the ropes, but he ran away. No. Go back up there. What are you doing? Come on, Manny. Get your head in the game. So we're going to go into the greenhouse. We're going to try and get it, but it's locked. We go in. Hector ices us. He shoots us with the sprout gun. But luckily enough for us, we have a little bit of liquid nitrogen left. We're going to cauterize that wound, and we're going to be rolling. Love that satisfying pop sound. Oops. Okay. So while his accomplice here is distracted, making sure all the tickets are in order, we're going to peer into the back of the car. They actually took out our poor friend Salvador all the way back from the beginning. All that was left of him was a head. They buried his body back here behind the greenhouse. However, his ticket to the afterlife, because Salvador was a good person at heart, his ticket to the afterlife is attracted to his body. So we grab his ticket, and we're gonna follow his ticket to where his body is. Now, luckily enough for us, like a lot of things in this game, the spot is the same every time. So we just have to head directly to the spot. Otherwise, we would be wanting to follow the where the ticket is, kind of leading us. The reason why we need to find his body is because his body has the keys to the trunk. It's his car. So we need to get into that trunk to get some weaponry here. Fun animation skip here. While we're rooting his body, it lets us out of the thing early, so we're actually rooting through his body while moving still. Doesn't make sense, but here we are. We get the keys. We're going to go into the trunk. We're going to grab a gun, and we're going to take out Hector Le Mans once and for all, right? Kind of. I mean, in a way, we're going to do that, but not the way that you might expect. So we're going to grab the gun. We're going to run over here. And we're not going to head right to the greenhouse. We're actually going to head over to this, watershed or whatever this is. Now, a greenhouse, as you might imagine, has a lot of one particular thing, and that thing is fertilizer. So instead of taking Hector Le Mans head on, we're going to shoot this tank, which is full of that fertilizer. And that's how we're going to take out Hector Le Mans. He's going to be filled with fertilizer, and he's going to be sprouted. Time is coming up in just a second. Our last input of the game is where time is, and which is me clicking on the door. So here we go. Time. All right. Little leg glitch there. But basically, yeah, thank you so much. That's Hector. Boom. His guts are all over. This is the silver bullet train we take to the afterlife. I'm not going to sit through the whole cutscene and everything like that. But yeah, this was Grim Fandango. This is a very fun speed run. You know, I feel like point and click adventures get a little bit of a knock for being, you know, kind of boring speed runs because it's basically you just play the game until it's over. But this game has a lot of fun tech to it that makes it a very interesting speed run. A lot of these inventory-based glitches, item-based glitches, sliding, and all that stuff. So I cannot suggest it enough if you're interested in the speed run, especially if you like these LucasArts games from the past. We don't have a Discord or anything like that, but feel free to message me, ConceptionSR, twitch.tv/ConceptionSR, whatever the case may be. I'll be glad to get you set up with some resources, get you running this game. We would love to see more runners on this game. Like I said, it's really cheap. Otherwise, just play it casually. It's a fantastic story, so I can't recommend it enough. But thank you so much to the Midwest team for letting me run these games. I'll be on the hosting mic throughout the event, but other than that, I'm done with runs, so thank you guys so much.